Might be it.
What's going on, world? Jack of all spades, CLT, back like bruh man from the 5th floor. We appreciate Jack of all spades Nation being here for our first live podcast event. Welcome to the Gorilla Playground. Once again, it's a beloved day, and I am the beloved one. To my right, we have Banks on the beat.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Banks, Blue Water Banks, Fat Boy Tires.
3700.
Wilkinson Boulevard, the hub, right?
Yes, sir. To his right, we have the Pride of Africa, Ken YBB.
It's the Pride of Africa, Ken YBB. Shout out DRC. It's only right. Shout out DRC.
Big up DRC. And today we have two special guests, something special for a live podcast. First up, we have Ndelo. And then we have Rod V.
Yeah, it's Rod V, either one. Same thing.
And let's not forget the team behind us. We got Lieutenant on the board, and we got Darian. He is the man behind the camera today.
The show, shout out. All right, now we always start off our podcast by giving our guests their flowers. Now, y'all got a long rundown we got to go over, right? Y'all got some years, some blood, sweat, and tears to this, right? So,
yes.
This trifecta, you know, we missing Taj today. Shout out to Taj, by the way.
Shout out to Taj.
Shout out to Taj.
Yeah.
Olympic high school alumni.
Trojans, no doubt.
Okay.
Already know.
We got a Navy veteran over there in Rod.
No doubt. Coleman up.
Fashion experts, all the mentors, accountant, business developer, social justice activists, entrepreneurs who created a design firm, features on CLT Culture. Charlotte is creative loafing, PBS, Congo Live, Mint Museum, and so much more. The brains behind DRC ApeParel and MacFly Fresh is why we here. Yes. Y'all want to talk about the background and all this for us?
Yeah, I'll start with the DRC joint. So DRC is it derived from we're from the Democratic Republic of Congo, but we switched that up, you know what I'm saying, to the divine righteous children, or you know, because we feel like divinity is one thing that you need to be in this world. You need to be, you know what I'm saying, righteous, one, strong, one, and just all above, just a good being, and that's what we get from the gorilla. But I get to that. But as far as I'll say how the gorilla came about, it was like they go back to Roseland. We're originally from Roseland, apartment 5 Prusy Road. Everybody know, you know what I'm saying. So there was this swing set behind our apartment building, you know, and so our parents, you know, they immigrated from Africa. So back in the day, there was a name you were called if you were African. It was called African Booty Scratcher.
Facts.
No doubt. And so me and my cousin Ndelo, like, we were the adventurous African booty scratchers, you could say. So we'll see the American kids playing, you know what I'm saying? We're going to try to mingle. Like, that's just what we are, you know what I mean? So it wasn't accepted too well at the beginning, you know what I mean? Because, you know, our parents still wore the African dresses and stuff, so we was the outcasts. But that's how we grew closer and closer, even though we was family. But we had to hang around each other.
Had to be.
You know, DeMarcus, he in the crowd, he'll let you know.
He was in the hood.
He was there. But it goes like this. So one day there was a kid out there on the playground. So me and my little brother, he not here, Charles Cope, and me, Ndelo, we was all out there, right? And so my brother was on the swing. And so I forget the kid's name, but he had pushed my brother. So I'm like, oh, you know, so being an older brother, I was like, yo, you know, I got to, you know, nah, this ain't happening, you know what I mean? So, like, nah, you got to, he was here first, whatever. So I guess the little kid didn't like it. We thought it was cool. He left. Little even though we started playing. And, you know, I turned back and looked like 15 people. Boy, like, a whole mob was coming up over this hill to the playground. We're like,
Keep in mind, we're like 7, 8 years old at this
7,
time.
8. You know what I'm saying? So we like, well, I guess they coming to play. You know, we gonna play. We're gonna be a good time at the park. Nah, they had other things on their mind. So when they got there, you know, a little fight or two. We got jumped. You know what I'm saying? And we ran, tucked with the, you know what I'm saying, tails behind our leg, all the whole nine. Came back, was like, yo, my little brother, he was small at the time. He really didn't. So me and Ndelo was like, yo, I'm tired of this.
Tired of running.
Tired of it. So I'll say within a week, it happened again. They came. But we stood strong on You know what I'm saying? We fought them this time. We ain't run. Then the gorilla came up out of us. They ran. Because there wasn't nothing they could do. So that's just how it just stuck. That's just how it started, you know what I'm saying? And so we just like, yo, that's who we are. You know, then it just started coming in from that. Then started playing football. We were playing football at Olympic beside each other. He played D-end. I played nose guard. Gorillas. You know, we speak a language called Lingala. You know, other Caucasian boys across playing center guard. They didn't know we were speaking, but we was telling we coming to get that ass, really, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? Now, so yeah, you know what I mean? So we use that stuff to our advantage, and so people started picking up on it and started feeling us as a vibe. And so really, at the O, we made being African cool. Like we were like the coolest Africans there. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's just a part of how it, you know, how the gorilla thing started. But it's so many stories. It's there.
Well, legend have it that NC State played a major role with the birth of DRC and MacFly Fresh. Can you tell us that story?
Yeah, so what Rod was alluding to were incidents that happened prior to college.
Gotcha.
Right? The incidents that allowed us to become more in tune with our identities, right? You know, more in tune with our Africanness, our Congoleseness, right? And understanding that there is pride in being who you are, you know, and understanding who you are. Like those incidents made us dig deep and say either, hey, hell, we hate being African because we keep getting beat up and chastised and terrorized, you know, that we felt like at that time, to the point where that was our number one catalyst to wanting to be more African, you know, because of that, you know. And as you can see, the gorilla, you know, on our chest. But in college, that's when I linked up with a lot of my boys, Taj, who's not here today, Merce, and we started the actual business of DRC. At this time, Rod was at St. Aug University, right? Rod was at St. Aug University, which is in the still Raleigh area. So we still had the synergy of Rod being around too as well. And we started doing designs during that time period. And that's kind of how MacFly was birthed. So MacFly started off as a design company that was designing for DRC, right? DRC was the bigger company at that time, right? We formed like Voltron with our team, and we started producing our first designs back in 2004, right? 2004 was our first designs that were produced. By that time, you were in the Navy, right? Yeah. So Rob was gone in the Navy, overseas, protecting the world, and we were on the ground actually designing and producing. So we went from designing our own apparel, DRC, using a lot of African fabrics, which we call liputa in Lingala, right? Which is basically the kitende or Ankara cloth that you see, you know, some places hanging around here, or you see in African fabrics.
Super wax.
Yeah, super, right? And we started doing that, hit a lot of different fashion shows, things of that nature. But then we started getting a lot of people wanting to hire us out for our design work, right? So that's when MacFly kind of took off. So I started off doing flyers for companies, then designs for different fashion companies, to websites, you know, to business cards, things of that nature. And fast forward from NC State, when we moved back to Raleigh, that's when we actually started in our mom's garage, screen printing T-shirts, right, to jump off MacFly to 5 years later being in this amazing spot we're in right now.
Let me jump in real quick. Like, you talked about 2004 getting started. Do you remember what those early designs and going through that process was like, even getting started?
Yeah, like our first collection was called Rock Your History on Your Chest, right? So what we did with that, we got different African symbols and, not symbols, but emblems and crests from the different African countries, from Kenya, Ethiopia, Nigeria, Ghana, West Africa. We try to hit every region of Africa, north, south, east, west, and central, and represent different brands there, because we felt like there are many other Africans, not just Congolese, who couldn't go to a store and buy anything to represent their country. You're not going to any mall and buying a Nigeria T-shirt. At that time, you could find Jamaica, Brazil, real heavy, because these were real major soccer teams and soccer, FIFA, you know.
I mean, again, you got to understand that Africa is just now becoming cool, you know. If, like, when you used to wear the big medallion African chain, you was in a separate group, you know. They were 5%ers. They were knowledge truth seekers, you know what I'm saying?
The conscious heads.
The conscious heads. Right. But little did they know, I mean, you're from Africa, brother. y'all from Africa. You know what I'm saying? If you dig deep, if you really want to learn, you're from Africa. It don't stop. It don't start with no other place. You understand?
All of humanity originated there.
Pretty much. So we just here to try to like break that stigma of like you got to be Jamaican, Dominican, all of that. Man, you can be Congolese too. You feel me? But you know what I mean? We a nation. We strong. We can show that too. We got food y'all can learn to eat. You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't have to go to Dominican restaurants. We can go to African restaurants. You see what I'm saying? That's what we trying to bring to the forefront, letting everybody know it's cool to be you. You don't got to be nobody else.
All right, so both to the Congolese massive
No
across
doubt.
the world. And you just alluded to it earlier, Gorilla V. But let's talk about the significance of the gorilla being the logo.
So, like, I'm going to take it back to high school. Like I said, we played football. We were going through like a two-a-days. And so two-a-days is like when you get up, 6 o'clock, you got practice for 2 hours. Then you got to come back at 2, heat of the day, and have practice again for 2 hours. So, and by that time, y'all was breaking the rules. You know, my mom and dad had built a house in Concord, and I was going all the way to South Charlotte, the Olympic. So I had a 74 Super Beetle with no power steering. People were like, well, how your arms big? Boy, hey, listen, get a Super Beetle. You got to pull that thing back. You know what I'm saying? But, so I used to drive that thing back and forth. So I had stopped and got a pizza on the way home. And so that was when my grandmother, who's from Congo, didn't really speak no English, but she was living with us. And, you know, as you can say, kid, you Congolese yourself when you got to share everything. Exactly. You know, you got to always, but I thought I was home by myself, right? So I came in there, I opened the large pizza, I got to work, you know. So little did I know my grandma was upstairs spying on me. And, you know, so after I finished the last piece, I'm done, I'm good. She come up behind me. Oh, your blessing got your local there, you know what I'm saying? Start breaking it, you didn't give me, you know, all of that. I'm like, dang, I'm in trouble. So as soon as my mom got home, she told me, she was like, if you don't watch your son, he came down, put his head down in a big, large pizza, and he didn't get up until it was finished, he going to be a gorilla. And so I was like, I'll be a gorilla, you know, I started thinking, so I started studying them. And so gorillas, everybody affiliate gorillas with like, they're beasts, they're strong. I mean, they're powerful, they're angry, they're not really
Flesh-eating animals.
Yeah, all of that. They're vegetarians. You know what I'm saying? They don't eat meat. So they're really docile creatures. They really take care. So let me give you a story about it. A group of gorillas is called a band. And so this is how I correlate to it. So let's say in my household, let's say I got a girl, kids, I'm the band leader. Same way a gorilla is. So if you watch a gorilla in the wild, they protect their own. They don't bother you. You can even walk up on them until they feel attacked. Then you got to get back. Then they'll beat on your chest. Look, hey, you're getting too close. And that's how I am. And that's how everybody is. You get too close to mine, I'm going to beat on my chest.
Protection.
It's time to get back. You got too close. So that's why we're trying to say everybody can be a gorilla. It's not about how it looks. It's just the mindset of it. You know, they make sure that their band gonna eat. They make sure that their band is taken care of. And that's everybody wish for a band. You want to kill that concert. Mm-hmm. And that's basically what life is. See what I'm saying?
So, like, he's alluding to the misconception as well. Just like you have the misconception of what a black man or a black woman is. People look at us from the outside looking in without knowing who we really are. So they give these preconceived notions. Oh, they're this way, they're that way. Just like the gorilla the same way. We have all these preconceived notions from movies, media. We have these negative connotations towards gorillas, reaching back to porch monkey, reaching back to all these different type of connotations that were stories that were not defined by us, right? So we wanted to define our own story, right? We saw the strength in the gorilla. We understood that the gorilla originated in the Virunga Mountain area in the Congo, bordering Uganda, Rwanda, in that area, which is our home, and we took pride to it that way, but also wanted to talk about the misconception that you don't know who we are until you get to know us, right? And when you finally really get to know us, you understand that we are very inviting, very intellectual, very protective, very strong leaders in our community. So we look at the silverback gorilla also as a leader in all these major characteristics that we feel like other black men should have, you know, and also to kind of play on the mindset of you got to go deeper than just the image, right? Even though this image is strong, this image is black, this image is powerful, but there's also other layers within the image as well.
Well, let's take things back to DRC. Let's go really, really deep. So what do these places mean to you? Kinshasa, Brazzaville, Goma. Speak to that.
Well,
Home.
Exactly. Like, just like I like to base my life on at my dad. Like, my dad, the story of my dad, like, he was a nurse back home. And so he was working at a hospital, and a Caucasian doctor seen that he worked hard, you know. So he kind of like, what I should say, like, I wouldn't say adopted him, but like paid for his way to get here. Like, yeah, sponsored his way to get here so he can go to school. So my dad graduated. In turns, wanted to be a doctor from Shaw University in biology, but the powers that be, he didn't have a green card, so he couldn't do that. So we used to live in Raleigh, so that's what brought us to Charlotte. He went to work at Frito-Lay, what brought us to Southside Charlotte, you know what I'm saying, where basically my life started, you know what I'm saying. So my dad always tells the story, you know, he came to this country with $9, you know, and so a lot of people don't know the story why I wore the number 9 in football is because my dad used to work from 2:30 to 11:30 at night. And so he couldn't make it to the games, you know what I'm saying? So I remember when we was picking numbers, you know, and back in those days, if you had a low digit, you was doing your thing, you know, only low digit numbers, you know what I'm saying? 8, 9, 11, 7. If you had those, you know what I mean?
You're the man.
You were doing your thing.
Right.
So I was like 11th grade. I was like, yo, I'm going to get that 9. None of the seniors bothered me. Nobody tested me. And I was just older than my dad. That $9, if he ain't had that, we wouldn't have been here. So I say that at the same time with a choice. You're only one bad decision away. If my dad chose not to come, Rod V probably wouldn't be here. See what I'm saying? So it's all about choices and decisions. So all that, Kinshasa, all of that is home. That's our start. But, you know, so that's why we come here to the Carolinas, Charlotte, letting y'all know our story, letting you know that y'all could be my brother and sister if you trace it back. You know what I mean? So that's what it means to me. So without sacrifice for my dad and mom, my dad coming, working, bringing my mom, then having us kids, I wouldn't be here. So it's my pops when you say that.
Okay. I want to take the opportunity to transition this because you're talking about your family and everything. I want to talk about community as well. So y'all been involved with the Mint Museum, the Harvey B. Gantt Center, Charlotte Shout, Boom Charlotte Festival. Y'all basically have had your hands in a lot of the art ecosystem here in Charlotte. So, Eric, tell me why the community is really important to you.
The community is important to us because, one, is where we come from. We started out struggling, right? Where we are today, of course we had help along the way, but one thing we like to say to people right now who we are in contact with, our interns, our apprentices, our employees, the community artists who come into the space, that if I had a me in my life at your age, I'll be in a whole nother place, right?
Whole nother place.
We grew up and having to make our own decisions. We could lean on our parents a little bit, but it wasn't really that serious, right? To where we had to grow ourselves. So being in this space, we want to make sure that we offer access and knowledge to the community, to kind of give back in a sense, in a way that we didn't have in ourselves when we were growing up, right? We want to kind of help accelerate that process, right? I feel like I would have been years or decades ahead where I am right now if I had that proper mentor or that proper person in place who could help guide me, or who had the certain resources that I needed to help get me to where I need to go.
Because we always seemed like we were ahead of the times, and we had nobody to go to who could help us with that because there wasn't nothing for it. But we would try to do it, and now when we see people doing, like, man, we already did that, but nobody was on that. Mm-hmm. But now they want to be on that. You know what I'm saying? It's whatever. Because, you know, that's just how it is. I mean, McDonald's, Burger King, they both make burgers. You know what I'm saying? So people going to make what you're going to make. It's all about how you make it and how they feel about it. So that's just what we're letting them know. That you don't have to. It's not the gorilla that what DRC is. It's what it's about that what DRC is. You see what I'm saying? That's just a face. Yeah, we can get nasty if it needs to be that, but that's not what it's about. It's about who it is as an animal, what it thinks, what it does, what it provides. It makes sure everyone's around it eats. It makes sure that everyone's around it taken care of. It makes sure that, and I'm talking about the silverback, which I am, the alpha ape. You know what I'm saying? They make sure that his pride, his band, is taken care of. And the same thing with community, because without community, we're nothing. Without y'all, we're nothing. We won't have clothes. Well, I mean, any brand. Without y'all, you're nothing. You know what I'm saying? So we and some people choose not to let certain people wear theirs. So we invite anybody, because anybody can be gorilla-fied. It's a mentality. That's what it is. If you want to succeed, you're a gorilla. If you got a family, you're a gorilla. If you own your own business, you're a gorilla. You pay bills, you're a gorilla.
Guerrilla business. And with that said, too, when you mention Kinshasa, Goma, and all the other places, that is the heart of Africa, right? And with the essence of the gorilla having the heart of Africa in it, which embodies who we are, that's where every essence of what we kind of built up the story the way we built it up. Because the mentality of the gorilla is about taking care of the community, right? We are from the heart of Africa. Without the heart, the body dies, right? So we feel like in Congo, that energy, being the heart of Africa, Africa also being the origin of humanity, a lot of the energy, a lot of the creativity.
He say the heart of Africa. I say the heart of the world, because you see this right here? There's a mineral called coltan that comes from the Congo. Every PlayStation, every phone, every electronic device, it comes from the Congo. So y'all be out there quick to go get the new brand, 11, 12. You got a 5-year-old minding that to make that. So we need to bring awareness to that. You know what I'm saying? Our little cousins dying, no arms. So we got the brand new tech. Everybody want the PS5, but don't know how it's made. It starts from dirt. Your dirt. Your dirt. Your dirt. You know what I'm saying? Your blood. But y'all don't know that. So it's all a conscious effort, basically.
With everything opening back up in the city, are there any events you guys got planned for the community coming up?
Oh, yeah, definitely. We are, like this right here, right? The very first podcast in the space, post-pandemic,
no doubt.
Right? Juneteenth, we are activating very heavy. We have some pop-ups, and we are doing also a house music free appreciation event on June 20th here. So please come back, June 20th. Bay doors up, 4 house DJs, block party, bring your lawn chairs.
When the bay doors up, anything go down, don't matter.
Yes.
Nothing don't have to be planned.
Right, so it'll be a great vibe.
If the bay doors up, it's on.
Right, great vibe that day. June 24th, we'll be having a celebration to commemorate the Congo Independence Day on June 30th. On June 30th, we'll be in here on the actual Independence Day activating as well. We'll have some Congolese authors, some fashion presentations, and some food tastings as well here in the space on June 30th. And then throughout July and moving forward, we're trying to just reach out to each and every one of you guys, and other members in the community to come to collaborate with us. This is a collaborative space, right? So if there is no idea or any date marked on the calendar now, that could be filled up with an idea you come and talk to us about today. That's really, truly where we are as far as being community-driven people and giving access and knowledge to the space. Mm-hmm.
Knowledge is meant to be passed, so we don't harbor it. You know what I'm saying? If we can make money with you, fine. If we can't, fine. But is it passed to keep it growing? Because we're going to die. It still got to keep going.
And people feel a certain kind of way about that too, right? Like, you can give away trade secrets, right? You can give away too much knowledge, too much information, right? If you're in business. But really, that knowledge you might give to that one individual, instead of you thinking in a negative way, oh, he's going to go and take my business and flip it and bounce it in his own way and take away my customers. That empowerment you might have given that individual could have inspired him to go tell 20,000 other people that, listen, MacFly helped me in this journey, right? Even though his journey is taking him to this place, but MacFly helped me with his journey. Now, those other people are coming here to become our patrons as well, right? So it's enough abundance out here to where we don't have to nickel and dime each other or fight like crabs in a barrel, right? So we like to give knowledge, as much knowledge as possible, because what we've noticed in time is that it comes back 700-fold.
That's even why we wanted to come to this area. Black, you know what I'm saying, black owners in this area, you know what I mean? They're going to see that. Mm-hmm. They're going to see black brothers doing that. Mm-hmm. And that's what we want the community to see, that, when we do things like having young youth and teach them how to print, we're giving them a trade. Maybe they can make money that way. You don't always got to pick up a bag, sell something. You don't always got to do that. You can, invest what my auntie gave you, the little, and turn it into something. You don't always got to be street way. But you can cater to the streets. You can get that rapper who rap. You can make his T-shirts. you can get his money that way. You feel what I'm saying? But you ain't got to be the dude to sell him the you know what I'm saying, the things to get him where you need to get. You know what I mean?
Like Charlotte was classified as like the 50th lowest out of 50 cities that were polled. Charlotte was the last city as far as economic mobility in the country, right? So if you were poor, you're going to stay poor, right? So being in this space right here, we wanted to be able to offer access to the neighborhood kids here, or any kid who just had any passion in fashion, art, technology, an
incubator.
An incubator, basically. So we have apprentices that come in here. We have youth that come in here that can use their skills wherever they get it from. It could have been street knowledge. It could have been whatever knowledge they have, and be able to apply it to the screen print process. Go through this whole screen print process. Understand the power of taking an idea from concept to creation. Understanding that you are a creator.
You
are a creator.
You got nieces and nephews. Don't get Spider-Man or Black Panther to show up to do nothing, do flips. And get a package with us. Bring 5, 6, 7 kids. We'll get some T-shirts. We'll show them how we get their idea on a T-shirt. That's how you inspire.
It's powerful.
Spider-Man
we
ain't
have no
doing
idea
nothing.
how powerful that is.
Spider-Man ain't real, but that ink is. That T-shirt press is.
Big up to Rod for that assist.
That heat is. You know what I'm saying? Spider-Man ain't. So you can give money to that, or you can give money to this. It's either one.
Yeah, segue King, Rod, appreciate you. So we've heard designs are like children. You shouldn't have a favorite one, but we want to ask you two gentlemen, do y'all have a favorite design that y'all did for DRC?
Man, me, it's just the gorilla on there because that's just who it is. Gorilla, it's with the blank. He'll probably have to find it. Probably deep, but any single ape like that one right there. If you got that one right there, like that's just us. His mouth open, he yelling. He letting them know, look, feed me. I'm hungry. We hungry. I mean, and me, this is like I do two things. You know what I'm saying? I do DRC, and I work for Pfizer. I do the pharmaceutical stuff because I like science. But at the same time, DRC is my heart. I want to do it full time, but at the same time, I have to be able to do that. And y'all can help me do that. The world can help us do that because, if you got brothers that's willing to give back to the community, y'all should invest in that so we can invest in the community so the community can be a better place for all of us. So you don't have to clench your purse to that young brother who's trying to ask you for change. He could be coming at you to buy a tea. Simple as that.
Well, now, with y'all being a three-headed master group, we're missing one. What are some of the challenges y'all face, trying to move forward?
Because everybody has ideas. Everybody is a gorilla within their own, right? Everybody is a mastermind, enterprise, entity within their own. So we all have ideas, but you can't release all ideas at one time, right? You have to put the ideas on the table, see which one's the best at that moment, and then be able to either suck up your ego, right? If it's not your idea, right? And be able to follow the gorilla who's leading with the best idea at that time. So really, that's one of the biggest challenges right there.
And another challenge, we used to be like, try to cater to y'all. I'm done catering to y'all. I'm going to give y'all what I like. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. Versace, all these other, they don't cater to nobody. They get a rapper to rap about it, now it's sold. Us, we want the community to wear it. You know what I'm saying? We don't need no big name rapper. We need my man right here to wear it to school. Let them know what the gorilla is. Let them know it's a shop on the corner, 301 Camp Road, where they can get more. Because it's a message.
And it's a story behind it.
It's a message and it's a story. It's also a segue to make money. It's also a business. But that's not, it's the purpose, but so is the message. Because when I found out that I can wear my own stuff, man, why spend $100 on polo? If you're sitting down in your chair right now and you think of a design or a logo, it can be made. So why go spend $100 on polo where you can get $100 and get 10 T-shirts of your own? Only makes sense to me. And polo only hot because y'all make it hot. Balenciaga only hot because they make it hot. Y'all bought a shoe with a sock with a sole.
Facts.
For $800. Y'all made it hot. So it's all what people like. But me, I would never do that. So that's just what it is. And I'm not hating. If you do that, hey, God bless you. I'm not a hater. I didn't know where money come from. And I just choose to make my own and save it rather than making a man who on the beach already. That's just facts.
That is a great point because we do control the market, right?
Black dollars control everything.
Control that market.
Everything. If black dollars stop buying Polo, they'll die. Versace, they'll die. And I got a pair of Versace shades over there, but my job bought them, so it doesn't. Whatever. But you see what I'm saying? We make it hot.
Balance.
If when the day we find out that our dollars is more than anything, man, listen, they done. Cause think about it, we're the only community that don't have a side of town. You go to South Charlotte right now, that's Latinoville. You see what I'm saying? We don't even have our own bank, but you can go to North Tryon right there and go to the Credit Latina, whatever. We have nothing. We got the black farmers on Beatty's Ford. That's about it. You see what I'm saying? We don't invest in ourselves, but how can we be strong if you ain't even got your brother that's helping you out? You see what I'm saying? But your brother be like, yo, pick me up, man. Let's go to the mall, go spend, man, all of this. Yeah, that's cool. But you can spend all that here and make your own.
Trying to turn people from consumers to producers. Yes.
Okay, with that being said, I got a question, but I want y'all both to answer it separately. As far as DRC and MacFly Fresh, what are y'all plans, or what do y'all want to see in the future as far as growth for the company?
I'll take the MacFly one, right? With MacFly, we really want to turn this space you're in right now into our institutional hub, right? To where you can come to this space you're in right now, be able to learn the art of screen printing, get classes taught, and it become a space of communal creativity. And then we want to grow our other outfits where we have other production facilities, right, to where we can produce. Because in here, we're doing everything manual right now, right? And we've grown for the last 5 years using straight manual equipment, straight hand-to-hand, so you see these strong arms right here, right? So a lot of press is a lot of work. But we're making investments into going into automatic. So it's where we can actually take on more business, right, and be able to take on more clients at the same quality and success rate that we're doing right now, right? Because we didn't want to grow or scale too fast and have to sacrifice quality or the customer service that has got us to this point right here, right?
So we've been there. Like I said, we used to move way faster, learning.
Yeah. So we're coming back now, right? Exactly. So, and also to have more production facilities and more hubs. We want to be in Raleigh-Durham. We want to have a greater production network that stems from the Congo all the way back here. We've been working on that for the past 5-6 years, but it's very, very hard to do a lot of international business, right? So really the international side of where we're connecting Congolese minds and designers with creators and designers here in Charlotte, North Carolina, or the United States, and really creating that true production network that is feeding us back and forth and making it a sustainable system that can continue over and over again. Because right now, we don't want to just do something we don't want to just give some people some bread to eat for 1 second, right? And then after the meal is over, they're back to normal. We want to be able to sustain for life.
See, y'all guys are entrepreneurs in your own right. For other folks who have issues or problems taking that leap to becoming an entrepreneur, what are some more advice you have for those guys?
Don't stop. Don't stop. Because it's really, once you get down to it, there's only two answers, yes or no. And it's how you deal with those answers.
Facts.
You can let no depress you and take you down. One thing people don't understand is, man, I done tried plan A. I done tried plan B. But you can take it all the way down to Z, right? And then you can start over. You can got plan A, plan double A, plan double B. So with that said, you just don't stop.
Don't stop.
You don't stop, because once you stop, momentum is one thing that is hard to get back.
Really
so if you got momentum going, you got your heart in it, you got your mind in it, just keep going. It's going to pay off. Yeah, it's hard work, but nothing done easy lasts. I done got fast money. Now, you know what I'm saying? So nothing get fast. It's none of that. So I just say just stay to it, stay right, put God first, pray at night, and it'll happen. We've been in it for a while, and we still didn't get it. We're not millionaires. We're not none of that. But we got a storefront. We got hours. We can say it's ours. If I get kicked out, I can come here, lay on my couch in here, So that's what it's about. Just having yours, being able to have yours, because without yours, it's hard. Just just keep working. That's all I say.
Believe in yourself, man. Really believe in yourself. Find a team of other individuals. Reach out to people. If you don't have the answer, reach out. Don't be afraid to reach out and ask questions. And planning. You have to be so disciplined. Like discipline, I think, is one of the biggest keys. Like we can, in our mind, say we want to do this and that and do that, right? But if you don't structure your day from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed and have the next 3 or 4 days structured, you're not really serious about this thing. Because days and life will come at you. Everything out here will be there to distract you, to take you off your goal, period, point blank. I mean, it's almost like it's structured that way. So to those who do make it, they have that sense of pride when they do, because they've really been against so many forces. Like, you have to praise people who actually get to where they got to go, because this system is, I wouldn't say the system, forget the system, just the natural order of things. It's like for you not to succeed in certain levels, right? But there are creative energies that do exist, that if you want to tap into them, that you can actually achieve your goals. But one thing we do that's worked for us, and it's, you can call it the secret of it, whatever you want to call it, but number one, have that thought in your mind. Visioneer it, right? See it all the way clear, all the way to the end. Number two, write it down, right? Number two, write it down, right? You have to write it down. And then number three, read it occasionally, like read it. Sometimes people say read it every single day, have it on your door outside, your door before you walk out the door. That's fine too as well. But you don't even have to really take it that deep. Just really internalize it at that point in time and then let it go. Be working towards your goal, but then let it go. Because there are metaphysical energies that are here that will help you get to that goal. You know, but you cannot cheat yourself, right?
You got to channel.
And each individual person will know what is actually cheating themselves.
You got to channel that will. It'll come. I mean, once your body, mind, and soul is all in tune to one thing where you want to go, you'll just be crazy to see how the doors will start opening that way. Amazing. But you have to be push yourself. You have to go that way. You know, you can't think it's going to come to you. It's not going to come to you. You got to go get that. You got to go get that. I'll go get it. You know, you got to go. I mean, I don't know what else to say. It's not going to come. You got to go.
But that process really works. Like, it really, really works. And you can put it down. Like, you can follow that 3-step process, put it down, and whatever that goal was, even if you weren't even trying hard to actually get to it, you will find out that somehow, some way, that one person comes into your life. You'll find out somehow, some way that email gets answered, or you're like, oh shoot, that's something thought about 3 months ago, 6 months ago, 2 years ago. You know, I mean, it's really that powerful.
We 40. I'm 41. He 42. So age don't matter.
It doesn't.
Chadwick Boseman became a star at 42. So time never, it's gonna always keep going. That's the only thing you really got against you is time. But you combat that by keep going. That's how I see it.
Okay, for sure. Keep going. Eric, quick transition. A wise man once said the Congo is #1 for music and fashion. Y'all brought that same energy to the idea live with the Print Shop series.
Yes.
Tell us what the idea was behind that.
All right, so with Live from the Print Shop, we really wanted to, because we're multifaceted beings, right? You know, we're into fashion, we're into music, we're into art, we're into community building, all the different type of things. And we're also, in our prehistory, before we were doing any of this, we were also promoters, right? In our former lives. We did a lot of parties back in the day. But this Live from the Print Shop really culminated when my brother-in-law, now Terrence Murray, who's married to my sister right under me, he and I decided that it would be great for us to kind of combine. He's a videographer. We do live screen printing. It'd be a great way for us to meet other artists in the city and, again, provide access, right, to a space and for the community of artists to be able to come through and actually showcase their work, right? So what we would do is we would empower the artists by actually secretly printing T-shirts in the back that they didn't know what designs were being printed, but it was based on their actual brand. And we would give them these 12 or 24 shirts so they can then go out and sell for free, right? So they can either come up selling them $20 a piece, $15 a piece, or give them out to their fans, right? But it was a way for these artists who normally didn't have merch already themselves, right? Who didn't really have big followings, right? And if you think about it, it was during the time of COVID as well. So a lot of people weren't doing major shows, right? So we had these isolated events in here to where people could still see the arts flourishing and people still being active in arts right here in the Charlotte community.
Okay, let me jump in real quick, because when I first asked you that question, you told us that you were a promoter at one point. We completely skipped that. Now you got to tell me how the experience of that kind of helped y'all now. I know y'all learned some lessons in that.
I'm going to tell you where we really learned the lessons. being 14 years old, there was a store called Bambi's Convenient Food Store on East 32nd Street. That was Delo's dad's. 36th Street, I'm sorry. That was Delo's dad's store. So at 14, 15, we was in North Charlotte running a convenience store. So that right there is what really builds a lot of character. Built with us how to deal with the community, knew how to deal with all walks of life, deal with like what the community lacks, where we can feel a void at. You know what I'm saying? So pretty much every situation we've been put in, we learn from it and try to adapt it into something better than what we can provide to somebody else. See what I'm saying? Because everything you go through is meant to be talked about and spread to somebody else. So hopefully they don't go through it. If they want to go through it, a hard head makes a soft ass head. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, and we were promoting before Instagram, Facebook, MySpace, Black Planet.
Listen.
y'all probably don't even know what some of these are, right?
Listen, man, 97, 2000, man, you go to NC State for a party, all of that, man. Listen, we had them back. We had all them stars, basketball players at the parties. Listen, college, yeah, RTP, we had it. Raleigh area, it was all right.
So we had to learn how to speak to people. We had to learn how to engage the community hand to hand, hand to hand. And that really made us very personable people, right? And, that allowed us to touch different communities. So fast forward, as we grew, we still had connections with these communities, right? And so then when Facebook and these other emerging technologies did come about, it made it easier for them to come back into our fold, right? To where now, some of us, we'd rather get out here in the streets and talk to people. I'd rather be on the stage communicating directly with people than to actually just push a button on Facebook and say, hey, here goes $100 for Facebook ads and, click yes and come to my party, right? Because the personal connection, as technology grows, the personal connection gets less and less and less and less, right? So we're trying to engage more and more activities or interactions that bring more of us, into a space to where we can commune and kind of and politic and build and kind of grow together.
Did your father still have a no chase policy?
Say it again.
Did your father still have a no chase policy?
Well, you really wouldn't want to chase nobody up out of there anyway, but they kind of respected what it was. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
His dad, they knew his dad didn't play. Mm-hmm. He was an African man that they knew he didn't play.
He didn't play, man.
And so they knew that he didn't play about his kids neither. So they wouldn't mess with us like that, pretty much. No.
We did have to chase one person out the store.
It happens.
It happened.
It happens, but
we did what we had to do. But
it's all good.
All right, so
Rod,
Rod,
that's the old us.
Rod, this question is for you. We talking Papa Wemba. But hold up now. Hold up. I need you to break down the Sapel culture. And we want to know, will DRC be bringing back the original pieces? Because we've seen those bow ties.
Yeah, we coming back with it. So, Papa Wemba's let's say to the younger people can understand, what y'all adapt to, what they rap about and they do it, then the young kids do. That's kind of like what he did for Congolese fashion. You know what I'm saying? So he was the one that brought that "I'm gonna be me" to Congolese music. Right. That flair, that extra. You can say, I'm not gonna say as flamboyant, but how Prince was on stage. I'm gonna be extra. This is me. This is how I'm going to be, and we adapted that into us. This is what it is. You know what I'm saying? That's what he is. He's the introduction to transition of fashion and music in the Congo, I would say, as far as the flair of it. They call it Le Sap. You know what I'm saying? Where we get extra fly. Extra fly. Even some go to the parties so fly they leave the tags on.
Yep.
They let you know how much they paid $1,400 for a shirt.
They
let you know. So that's just how it is.
And Papa Wemba was for those who might know Fela Kuti, right?
Papa
Wemba
Fela
was the Fela of Congo. And in Congo we're francophone, right? So Papa Wemba, they're more anglophone, Nigerians, right? So a lot of American audiences might have been more attuned to Fela than Papa Wemba because he was a francophone French-speaking artist, right? Which is huge more in the Parisian area and all that kind of stuff, right? But he was just on the same level. You can even look at interviews where Fela Kuti attributes some of his talents and his growth to Papa Wemba himself.
Congolese music as itself, these guitars, drums, you can hear it in some of the music out here. Davido, the Nigerian artist, he used our language in some of the songs, you know what I'm saying? But Congolese just doesn't have that. Congo just doesn't have that name like everybody else. Because I don't know, but that's what we're trying to rectify right now.
And I just say that in this country, really,
Pretty
But
much.
if you go to Europe, you in France. Yo,
Congo Street,
it's-
all that. We
you
there.
know,
You know what I'm saying?
the top 5 hip hop MCs in France are Congolese.
Congolese.
So you wouldn't even know that, right? Unless you're in the Francophone culture, right? Yeah.
All right, so now we've reached the most popular segment of Jack of All Spades Nation. We call it Top 5 Dead or Alive. Shout out Jada Kiss, The Lot, you already know what it is. So Ndelo, Rod V, we want to know who are the 5 people that inspired you the most on this journey. Oh yeah, that's a good one, right?
I mean, Pops, of course, we throw that down because he gave us that opportunity to be men. Like, we were kids, but he gave us the opportunity to be men in a man situation, right? You're dealing with cash, you're dealing with older people, and you're selling them beer and cigarettes, right? I mean, you're driving to the store at 12, 13 years old by yourself, right, with no license, you know what I'm saying? I mean,
Stopping off at the Hardee's on Nations Fork. That was when we used to eat pork, 2 sausage biscuits, and egg each. Because we got a long 14, 15-hour shift. Granddaddy, my uncle say, well, I'll be back at 2 in the afternoon. He come back at 2 in the morning.
2 in the morning, right? You know what I'm saying? So I would say that him. I would definitely say, for me, Russell Simmons. Because coming up, Russell Simmons was an individual who I seen jump into a genre of hip hop. During the time that he did in the '80s. And then create a collaborative business beast between fashion and music. Like, he was the first person I saw do that, right? And then, of course, the Diddy's, the Jay-Z's, and everybody else kind of followed that template. I mean, so I would say him for number 2 for me.
I had to say my dad, because also my dad, even though he was a hard worker, he went nowhere unrecognizable. Like, always fly. It don't matter if you're going to Balo or whatever. I said Balo because that's how long he's been fly. You know what I mean? His number one thing is you never know who you're going to run into. Always look the part.
Facts.
And another thing he always used to say, it hurt to look good. Because I remember the story. I had to go to church. My penny loafers were like a half size too small. He looked at me and said, we taking these pictures. It hurt to look good sometimes. Put them on. So he the man.
Those things stick with you right
yeah,
there.
he the man of 1,500 suits. Like, one day, true story. I said, Dad, we were supposed to go somewhere. I said, man, it's going to be hot. You always wearing a suit. He said, I'll be all right. The man came out the room with a full suit, cut the sleeves off. Had one just fast. It was different, but he rocked it. So just stuff like that, just little things like that. And then I say my mom, because hard work, putting up with me, man, I was a knucklehead. You know what I'm saying? Knucklehead. But she held me down till I got right. And I would say that. And the other 3, my sister, she always, because I have a son who's on the spectrum. So anytime I need to come do for DRC, because I live in Cary. So anytime I need to come in here and do something with DRC, she's always watching my boy. And she has 5 kids herself, and she's always willing to step out and, Rod, go ahead. And the other 2, I say Ndelo, and because since we were yay, we've been together. You know what I'm saying? Out the womb, always been entrepreneurs. There used to be like this business park behind Roseland, right? And he's have like these crumbled up the rocks in front of it. We were so thought process 6, 7. Man, this our land. This our mountain. We used to call it the Eric and Roderick Mountain and Junior Mountain. Like, that was our retreat. Just our solitude, just dreams, you know what I'm saying? So it all started back then, and then the last person, I say myself, because I just keep going. I'm not gonna stop it. It's hard. It is tough, but not stopping is the only thing, you know what I'm saying? I go to the gym every day, no matter how hard it is. I pray every day, no matter how hard it is. I'm thankful every day, no matter how hard it is. So that's it.
Now, Jack of All Spades Nation, we got to do something special for the live podcast. So we got a special guest, Sir Abstraxxx, that's going to bless y'all. But before we get there, if anybody has a question, YBB going to go give you the mic, and you can talk to these men right here.
Question, anybody? Don't be shy. Okay, I got you.
Ask me anything.
So I want to know, do you guys sell like how they do online, like Luputas and stuff like that? The tops and the bottoms?
Great question, and that's kind of like what he was saying. We're bringing that back. We are bringing that
because
back.
when we had it, they weren't ready. Now they're ready.
You,
See how that was?
So
That's
tough,
how
man.
it was. That's just pissing me off. Like we had it all. We wasted so much bread on all of that, man.
Fabrics,
we had
trips, everywhere. And
we had it all.
And the main thing we used to hear, oh, I ain't African.
I'm not African. I ain't African. Now everybody African. You know what I'm saying?
DNA test, 23andMe, everything is popping off right now. You know what I'm saying? So we are bringing that back. But it did touch us for a second. It really did, because you think you're making your best masterpiece, your best album, your best book, your best whatever, and you're bringing it to the world. Then you bring it to the world, to the constituents that you want, that you think will eat it up. And they're the number one people that tell you, I don't really rock with that. That's too African for me. What's too African?
That's why I want people to understand the gorilla, that you don't have to be African to get it. It's a mindset. You know what I'm saying? If you waking up in the morning at 5:30, brushing your teeth, getting up in that car, getting into work, clocking in, that's a gorilla, bro.
Everybody has.
You know how long? You know how much it took to do that? Y'all don't think about that. Y'all just do it. But if you think about how much it really takes to do that every day, and you do that every day. Non-stop every day. You're getting up and doing it every day. You get picking up your kids, you're doing it every day. You feeding them every day, and you're doing it every day. That's tough. But we've been formed to think that like that's just the way of life. It's supposed to do that. But to do that, it takes initiative. You have initiative when you're doing that.
It's power and strength. Yeah.
You have strength when you're doing that. Mm-hmm. You understand? You have know-how when you're doing that. All of that matters. But y'all just look over that because this is what you got to do. Yeah, you got to do it. But it takes some know-how to do what you got to do. And you should pat yourselves on the back for that, because if you're doing it every day and you survive it every day, you're a gorilla, man. You've been gorilla-fied, and thank you.
You a real gorilla. There you go.
Any other questions in the audience? Remember, hold your peace.
Now, Rod V with the mic drop. So,
he dropped the mic. I mean, what else can we say after that?
So we going. You know how we close this thing out.
Hold up, I got one. I give you one.
Boom, boom.
I want to know what y'all would say to y'all younger selves getting started. If you're starting all over again.
Oh, man.
Your younger self.
I would tell my younger self, man, be easy on yourself, bro. Like, be easy on yourself. Like, this whole pressure to be rich by 30, and if you don't make it by 30, you're not successful. Don't do that to yourself, bro. Don't do it to yourself. It's not fair to yourself.
Success is measured in who you are, man, because your mind is only going to be how you think you're successful you are. You know? I'm successful in my mind.
Boom.
So I came from Nation 4, Exit 4 all day. You know what I'm saying? Rough, hard times. My parents didn't speak no English. I had to grow up American outside and African in the house. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the toughest things ever to do.
What?
You know what I'm saying? To have American friends and you coming home late, 11:30 from coming from McDonald's from winning the game, and you getting in trouble. I was just with my friends. I had a good game.
American.
You know what I'm saying? I had a good game. I picked up a fumble, ran it back. Like, let me live. But you see what I'm saying? So that's just how it is.
All right, so y'all have heard the words. Oh, go ahead. Of course, come on, Lieutenant, working the boards, we can never forget.
Blessings, brother.
Bless.
Speaking as first generation myself, first generation Liberian, West Africa.
What up? LIB.
Quickly, just talk about the duality, like we were talking about. African, American, being in the middle. Your parents don't speak English. I relate to all that. Eating different foods. Your friends coming over, not understanding the tradition, the clothes. Like, speak a little bit, so people can understand kind of how your mind works growing up.
I mean, that's what made us a gorilla, man. You had to be tough, especially back in the early 80s and 90s growing up. In Roseland, you had to be tough. We used to have a neighborhood bully. His name was Paul.
Paul, never get Paul, man.
I'm talking about when Paul coming around the corner, man. Ndelo, man, we taking off.
Debo.
Out of that.
Straight
Listen,
Debo.
but so we went through our trials and tribulations, but it only made me a great individual because it learned me to respect anybody. I'll listen to a bum, to a 2-year-old kid, because you don't know where that knowledge is coming from. Because that bum could be telling you how he lost his millions of dollars, and you want that knowledge. And that 2-year-old could be telling you how he wants to be treated, and you need that knowledge. Because it's still a person just because they 2, you know what I'm saying? They know how they want to be treated. You got to listen to that. So you got to have open ears and everything. So I don't pull no shade down on nothing. I listen, and then I decide whether if I want to retain how I want to deal with the information. But you got to listen, and you got to always be thinking. You just got to always be moving. You just can't stop, man.
You can't stop. And then I feel like being that we were 2 Congolese for our American friends, or 2 African for our American friends, but 2 American for our Congolese, world, we had to create our own space. right? Like a third space, which I feel like this space is the accumulation of that, to where it embodies everybody, right? Nobody can feel like an outsider, because we felt like outsiders in every world that we stepped into. You know what I'm saying? Every world we stepped into,
we started using it to our advantage. You see, you got the Latinos speaking, they'll speak Spanish to each other, but we started speaking Lingala to each other, especially we be on double dates. We start hard, they be looking like, yeah, it's time to go to the crib, man. It ain't popping.
Es silly. Toque si coil. Right, exactly. Right.
So you got to embrace what you got. At first, we was just trying to like, we getting beat up. But then I'm like, man, this is who I am. It ain't going nowhere. Mm-hmm. So here I am, Gorilla V in the flesh.
Yes.
Did you want to close this out?
All right, so Jack of all Spades Nation, you've heard the wise words of Rod V, Ndelo.
Boom, boom.
Shout out one more time to LT on the boards. Big up to Darian behind the camera. I am the beloved one.
Banks, Fat Boy Ties. Hold on, we ain't even get them to tell us, they Instagram handles where you can find
It wasn't over yet.
That man speaking.
It wasn't over yet.
Close with this part, so I'm like, hold on, we skipped something.
It wasn't over yet.
Well, I'm Banks, Fat Boy
He
Ties.
got a smooth. He on it, right? He on it.
Clean up, man. You already know.
It's your boy YBB, Proud of Africa. Shout out DRC one more time. DRC one more time.
All right, so Rod V, go ahead and let the people know where they can find y'all out.
There we go.
So you can check us out at DRC ApeParel. That's DRC ApeParel. ApeParel. At MacFly Fresh, which is the space you are in now. And you can check me at Gorilla Ndelo.
I'm at Rod V at Gorilla Hamza. Instagram, Facebook, Roderick Vakala. But it's all the same thing. But what I want y'all to understand is, like, before y'all leave here, real talk is a mindset in time. If you don't understand the concept of time, you're going to lose it. And that's really all you got. Because time don't stop. You know what I'm saying? Tomorrow, somebody dies today, it's going to be tomorrow, if you can understand what I'm saying. So with that said, is the best way is to understand time and how it works and how it can work for you. Because if you don't understand that, you're going to be 60 and like, damn. So time, people, and understand it. And you are a gorilla. That's my whole thing with DRC. I want people to understand, like, the gorilla is a face of what we are, what it is, but it's about a mindset. You know what I'm saying? If you handling day-to-day everything life, you're a gorilla, man. No matter how you don't want to or think about it, because that's just what you are. That's my spirit animal there. So I just invited y'all into my life a little bit.
Gorillas for life.
For life, all day, man.
And make sure y'all come back out to the live events doing it for the community. A lot of good stuff coming up. But you know where you can find us. Jack of all Spades CLT on IG. Facebook, Jack of all Spades. You got Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Once again, shout out Darian for the YouTube, the audio, and the visuals. But you know how we close this thing out. Shout out to, or rest in peace to Malik Taylor. If you don't know who that is, that's Fife Dog.
Bless.
So tell your mother, tell your father, send a telegram, and we out.
Peace.